Unfortunately, 96.
96.
Good to see everybody.
Too.
We're glad you're here. So Dave was going to be number one on the list on our agenda. We're going to get an update from Dave on the projects that are going on, and then we're going to just get right into the mural and money. So how many by the Mechanic Street lot lately to take a look at the progress?
Yeah, it's great.
It's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful, actually. I love the wall they're doing and the stairway going up. It looks terrific.
You know, Dave's plan, he told me the other day, the top of the wall are planters. If you haven't been up on the Washington Street level, there are planters there, and he's hoping to get the garden club perhaps to plant them and take care of it. He's going to try to talk to the Camden Law to see if he can tap into their water by putting a meter on it, but having water available, a hose or something to keep the plants watered. So that's what his hope is, that we'll actually be able to have some plants on the top of the wall and get some water so they can survive and be taken care of. So
We will need a railing or something up there too. So
we are having, we have a railing in the
I
plan,
thought so. Yeah. Yeah.
so people don't go tumbling over. No, it's going to look really nice. So I don't have a approximate end date. Do you, Jeremy? Do you know?
I don't. But I mean, I've been told they're on schedule. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Meg.
No,
Oh, you-
I was waving. I don't know. I just moved myself.
Oh, okay. Well, if Dave joins us, we'll just sort of interrupt.
I'll call him now, Deb.
Okay,
Texted him, but I'll call him.
all right.
Uh,
I'll just start with the money.
Right.
act.
It does say he's waiting to be let in.
Oh, Janice? Oh,
Ooh, Janice went away real quick.
Yeah.
come back, come back. Ah,
There he is.
there's Dave.
There's
Hi,
the
Dave.
other thing.
And there's Dave. Both
Yeah.
Daves are with us.
Good.
Okay, Dave Jackson and Dave St. Laurent, your microphones aren't on. We can see you, Dave
Yeah.
St. Laurent.
I've been sitting here waiting, and Dave
Oh.
St. Laurent sent me an email because he couldn't find the link.
I
So I
wasn't,
sent him.
I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get it. Well, anyway, I think we're all here except Rafi, who apparently is recovering from appendicitis.
Who's that?
Rafi,
Oh,
Meg gave us that update. Dave St. Laurent, do you want to kick off with update on the projects?
Well, so the budget was passed, and that means that lends itself to doing the alleyway project and the downtown drainage project. And the low bid on the downtown drainage project was a company called Ranger, and it looks like they're working on finalizing that. So potentially that project will get off the ground, and I don't know if they finalized it. Maybe Jeremy knows more, but that would start, if it does, October, I think, 15th. Jeremy?
Yeah, and I think that's right. The schedule, I will say, we are going to have a special town meeting to address the easements that we're giving to the state to run those pipes down there. So that's going to be in the works at some point here, hopefully within the next month. So I'll have to work with Bob and Audra and the select board on that.
So that's to grant the DOT easements to go down the walkway with the drainage?
Correct. And DOT, I mean, it's very interesting because I've been doing I'm the LAP person for the sidewalk project on Washington Street. And there's quite a precise process that you have to go to take people's property for easements. And DOT does not seem to be doing the process that I have to do on Washington Street. However, we're going to have, they think the select board can just authorize that easement to move forward. But since it is real estate and it is an easement, we have to actually go to town meeting for that. So we'll be doing that in a special town meeting, probably a Zoom meeting at some point in the next month or so.
Interesting, because I know the town has a right of way down the walkway, but
Once you get below, and I don't know exactly where the property line is, but it's for that piece. And the town we are getting $18,000 or $19,000 from DOT for the right for that easement.
okay, good.
Yep.
Dave, Laurent, do you have an approximate finish date on the Mechanic Street lot?
So yeah, that's going well. I mean, I'm sure you guys have looked at it. I think it's going really well, actually. And we think that'll be done by the end of July. Of course, the paving part's a little, there's a scheduling issue there with the paving portion. We don't know if the paver that's paving the lot piece will be ready to pave. And I'm trying to time that with the paving that's happening on the road piece together. But that's all going well. We did hit some ledge where the retaining wall is. So that it wasn't a setback, but it was a small change order. We had to modify the wall a little bit and I think I talked with you, Deb, a little bit about it. But it won't really be noticeable once it's complete. Trying to think what else happened. When the retaining wall was designed, there was no really incorporation of irrigation system in the flower pot portion. So I've reached out to the Camden Law Group and I've gotten permission from them we'll have to pay for it, but it's not gonna be much, but we're gonna put a bib on the outside of on their building. And I'm gonna try and put something underground and then run it right straight into the irrigation or the flower or the planter portion of the wall. So actually something will grow there, because I think if you tried planting something there, because there's no water, it really wouldn't grow. And it'd be a lot for a group or somebody to have to water that all the time. So to fall off of that, we've been working with the garden group and they're willing to help with all of the designing and planning of all the flowers that are going to go across there and in that planter part. And one of their questions that I got from them was, what involvement is there going to be from other committees, probably you folks, in terms of what they put there. And I mean, I was under the opinion that, they're the garden group and they're the master gardeners. I would think that they would be the best people to maybe come up with a plan of what goes into that.
When you say garden group, do you mean the garden club?
Yes, excuse me, the garden club. So, yeah, that was my thought on it. I don't think that we wanted to get into picking flowers and.
Meg?
I don't think we want to get into picking flowers, but I think it's a good idea for them to be given a picture of the mural so that they
That's a good idea.
an idea, you wouldn't have a bunch of pink flowers necessarily with that mural, so it might give them an idea of color.
Sure, that's a great idea. I can tell you that I first talked with them about it and they didn't really know what it was going to look like. So they were kind of like, now that they've been driving over there and seeing how nice this is all going to look, they're really excited about it. So
Great.
I think it's a good opportunity. And with that irrigation in there, I think, it's going to look unbelievable. When you can put water in something like that on like a soaker hose and the underneath of it, you can almost put anything in there you want.
Great.
So I think it'll come out nice.
Let me ask the group just right now, is the sense of everybody that let the garden club pick what they need and give them a picture and let them go for it?
Yep.
Sure.
That our consensus?
Yeah.
Dave, Jackson, you too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
That's great.
tell them it's all theirs.
All right.
Jeremy?
Dave, don't forget a plumbing permit.
Oh, geez, I didn't even think about the plumbing permit. Yeah, okay. I think I know who the code enforcement officer is.
The plumber needs to get the permit.
Sure, I have a plumber in mind. They're hard to find right now, plumbers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
If you need help, we can help you.
okay, so that's where we're at on that project. I'm trying to think what else the signs. So the signs, when the budget was passed, which is yesterday, right? We reached out to the door sign company that gave us the estimate on replicating the old sign.
You know, the welcome to Camden, the old fashioned signs we have on the,
Yes, yeah.
So we called them, and their one recommendation is they didn't disagree. They like the sign and everything, but they thought the border should have like some kind of a gray around it to bring attention to it, because just the black is kind of, you lose the sign. And I said I'd give you I'd run it by you guys to see what you thought. If you go, I can actually share my screen and I can show you a sign that looks like it, that's black. Let's see if I can do that here. Can you guys see that?
Mm,
No.
Not yet.
Not yet, Dave.
All right. So sharing the screen, that's a website, it's a little different, I guess. But I think you guys all know what the sign is. It's the Hearthstone Inn sign.
okay,
And if you look at that sign, it's just like the Camden sign. It's not the same shape or anything, but it has just a fine kind of light gray border around the perimeter of it, just to kind of
make
bring out the rest of the sign. And I didn't know if you wanted them to incorporate that into it or not. That's up to you. I can just do it the way it was. That was their recommendation. But like I said, that's up to you folks.
Well, I can see why we might want to have something to help the sign pop up a little bit. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes some sense to me. I can't visualize it myself. I'm not good at that. Some of our visual folks, Meg, Donna, and
Richard.
Richard.
I was trying to see if I could bring up a picture of the Hearthstone Inn sign.
If you go to the door sign website,
Yeah,
it's on there. It's right on there. It's right, one of their signs they're showing.
Richard, what were you thinking?
I like it the way it is, especially the one that's on the north boundary of Camden when you come down from Lincolnville. It's elegant. It doesn't need to say any more with gold or gray or whatever you're talking about. I think it's elegant and does everything it needs to do as it is now.
Richard, didn't you have a photograph of it when we discussed it before?
The old
The
sign?
existing one,
The existing one.
I'd have to, it's more than I can pull up on this computer now.
So
Just
Yeah.
take a drive tonight up to Lincolnville.
sign is black with gold leaf, and it has a little bit of red in it,
Right.
is what it is. But anyway, that's up to you folks, if you want to leave it the way it is, or if you want to add I mean, I don't think it's a wide perimeter or emphasis on the outside of the sign that's gray, but the Hearthstone Inn sign is made that way, and we have time either way. It's up to you. I have, they're getting us the new and updated estimate, so if you want to take the time to look at the sign, or if you just want to go ahead with the way the sign is, I'm okay with either one.
What's the sense, folks?
I couldn't bring up a big picture of the Hearthstone Inn sign. I only have this kind of little itty bitty picture, and I'll try and share it with you guys, but hang on a second. Let me get it off to one side and see if I can pull off the screen sharing business. There. Share. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Hartstonian sign there.
Oh, I see, but
Yeah.
not creating that fancy frame, but if you it's just creating a border around it.
Yeah, it was a real narrow border just around the outside so you could see it because it's black, you kind of lose it. But
Dave,
yeah,
can they give you a drawing, just like a sketch of it?
That's
I'm
a great
sure-
idea.
The
I'm
gauge gray
sure they
boundary?
probably could, and I could probably just, maybe email that to everybody and you can kind of maybe vote or decide via email, group email.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a say in this, but I mean, I hear what Richard's saying.
I agree. I need to
That
take. a
sign's
look at
been
the
there
sign.
forever. It is what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, they are relics. We're not trying to modernize it.
No,
So-
I'm
Do I-
just
I
going
don't
by
know.
what
Am I
the
allowed
sign,
to talk?
the sign
Wait,
person was.
Wait. Yes, raise your hand. Paul?
Yeah, I'm in a different zip code, but I didn't know if I was able to speak. So I kind of tend to agree with Richard. I think, I don't know, I mean, the way I remember the signs, they're classic but I'm not voting. That's just an opinion.
I mean, from my perspective, what pops is town of Camden, not the sign. That's what pops. And I think that's important.
Meg, where do you stand?
Which Meg?
Well,
Oh, Meg Keano, you've been quiet.
Well, I will defer to the experts in this, and I would like to be able to visualize them side by side, but I kind of like what Richard is saying, that why would we change something that looks so good? We liked it in the beginning, so maybe just leave it.
I would go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Donna?
I agree with, I want to follow Richard's lead on this. I think he feels strongly about it, and I think we need to make a decision.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I move.
You move that we reproduce the signs as is without an extra border.
And I'll
Exactly.
second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
I
1, 2, 3. Looks like it's unanimous.
Okay, perfect. That makes it easier.
All right.
We'll just, we'll order it and we'll put it up.
Fabulous.
So that's where we're at on the sign. I haven't gotten anywhere on the globes. I think, Richard, you had the information on the globes.
Want me to send that to you?
Yeah,
Okay, and then I'd like to have you meet me at the post office and verify the size of I think they call it the fitter, the thing in the bottom.
mhm.
It might require removing the existing globe there
Sure.
and measuring it so we get the right one.
10
I'll
four.
send the information to you tomorrow and then we can arrange to meet there at your convenience.
Okay,
Great.
I think that's everything. I mean, there may be something else, but you'd have to remind me.
well, I wanted to say something that I've been waiting for this meeting to say. I'm so impressed with the sidewalk work on Park Street.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah,
And then how the sidewalk has been designed to shed water so it doesn't become an icy sidewalk in the winter.
Well,
I
we're-
think it's terrific.
thank you. We're not done yet. There's a lot more that has to be done to continue making it that way. We're working on it. We just met, actually. I just came from there. So we're working on that and some other stuff.
Well, you just have to teach the guys who will do the snow plowing not to carve up the edge of the sidewalk. When I was watching it go in and realizing that it's all bituminous, and I'm thinking snowplow making the corner could take part of that away. They're going to need to be careful when they go down Park Street.
Yes, that's all part of it, I guess, right?
Don't need to plow up that brand new curbing.
No, absolutely not. We've got a lot of we're trying to make all the roads kind of complete streets right now, so they may not all be elevated, curbed sidewalks, but they'll have at least a line so that it makes it easier for people to get around.
While we're on this project, excuse me, maybe Jeremy knows, do we have any indication of timing on the southern gateway, the sidewalk that goes from the gas station past Hannaford's up the hill on Route 1 South there? Do we have any word from DOT on that?
Dave, maybe you know, I mean, I remember most recently that we were going to try to bundle that along with
Short tail.
with 105. I'm not sure that's going to happen. We're having some struggles with acquisition on 105 right now. I think, honestly, I think they're going to just move the Southern Gateway along as it is right now. That's my understanding. I mean, I had a conversation with Arel a couple of weeks ago on this. I was supposed to. It's remarkable, I will say, these LAP projects and doing acquisition of rights, construction rights, and you know, sidewalk rights, property taking. It's remarkable. When COVID happened, actually, I thought we were this close to agreeing on something. That was March 12th or 15th. And I said, okay, I got 30 days to get this done. And here we are, almost the end of July. And we still don't have an agreement. We may end up going eminent domain on one of these.
Oh, it's too bad.
And it's really unfortunate. You know, so I think, frankly, I think the Southern Tier or Southern Gateway is going to run by itself at the present time.
Okay.
Bid, as I understand, it's going out to bid not too long. So
That would be the latest information on that, because, I mean, I don't have anything that was later than two weeks ago, so.
right.
The other project that you guys may be interested in is the Opera House. The gutters on that are starting now. So we're getting ready to do all the gutters around the Opera House. And then we're going to be repointing the building, you know, roughly in another week. So that'll all be done also.
That's great. I saw the crane there the other day. Okay, everybody, is that it on the projects?
That's it.
All right, let's talk mural and mural money. I can give a money update. I know we have 500 in the bank. We have pledges for 2, 4, and 300. So if all those pledges come in, we'll have 1,400 available. The project, as we designed it, was going to be 2,600. And I'm gonna let my phone ring. No one else home.
Deb, do you think you need me anymore in this meeting?
No, not unless you have any questions
Okay.
for us.
Can I say one thing? Maybe that we're working on, and this is just kind of, I'm trying to just let people know. I mean, I'm spending a lot of time trying to work with businesses downtown on what the town can do during these really challenging times. One thing we are doing, and it's probably going to be released in the next couple of days. We're trying to have an event outside at we're meeting with Dave Jackson tomorrow. We're going to have a branch of the Maine Outdoor Film Festival, which is a showcase of Maine outdoor films at the amphitheater on August 20th.
Neat.
It's really cool event. Unfortunately and fortunately, we're limited to 50 people. So it's going to be a ticketed event. The town is sponsoring it along with the town of Camden, along with Jeff Sender's engineering and science consulting firm. We're sponsoring it along with Jeff. It is going to be a ticketed event. The bulk of the ticket prices are going to be donations to the library. And part of this was, you know, we need to manage people coming in and make sure they come, because we need to limit it to 50. So we decided that any proceeds from tickets that people need to purchase to get in, those proceeds, all of that funding will really go to the library. So we're really appreciative of the library. We're going to meet tomorrow on it. It's going to be a cool event, I think. In the future, I'm looking to do this in the future with this group out of Portland. This guy's name is Nick Callanan. He has Camden roots. He used to run a No Umbrella Productions, which is a video and media production company that focuses on outdoor films in Maine. It's kind of a neat thing. So that's coming August 20th. Just wanted to share that with you.
Jeremy?
Yes,
Do you-
sir.
What films they're gonna show or film?
So these are all, they're all short films. It's going to be a 2-hour event. It's going to be short films. It's a curated event, so they have a call for artists, and they had a big event scheduled for Portland this year. Unfortunately, due to COVID, they've had to scale that back, and everything had to go outside and very small, 50 people. So what again, it's a curated event. They're bringing these, they're all main films, main filmmakers that are taking part in this. Main Outdoor Films is curating it, picking the ones that are going to be a part of it. I saw one last year in Belfast, and there was some on mountain biking, dog sledding, fly fishing, rock climbing. I mean, really cool stuff that is outdoor Maine. I think it's really, a good fit for Camden, and it's something that Jeff Senders and I have tried to just stir up, just to try to give something else to do in Camden this summer when things are very challenging. And wish we could have more people there, but hopefully those 50 people will buy a meal to go from one of our restaurants and then take it over to the amphitheater and enjoy some film and some good Camden food. So
Jeremy, I'll find out tomorrow, but what are they going to use for a screen?
they have their own screen, Dave. They've got everything they need. I'm not the screen video guy. He puts this on. He does it all over the state. So I'm pretty certain he's got that under control. I don't know, and we can talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Can I just ask, how are you going to sell the tickets? I mean,
Yeah, good question, Meg. And it's going to be an Eventbrite is where they're going to be on, and it's going to be first come, first serve on Eventbrite, unfortunately. And again, it is kind of what it is. We have to limit it, but we also can't just we need to somehow who's going to come, and everyone needs to have some skin in the game in order for there to be 50 people there, because if we just say it's the first 50 people won't come, or if it's just free, people don't come. So that's why we tied a donation to the library to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right.
See you, Jeremy. Appreciate
If you
it.
need anything, always reach out to me, please.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
One other thing, if you don't mind, really quick, off agenda. Randy Gagne and I have been walking around downtown and visiting every store, every business, just to see if there's something the town can do. If they're struggling with, their patrons wearing masks, if crowds are an issue for them. We're trying to be as proactive as possible. We've gotten great feedback from all of the downtown businesses. They're really happy that we're out there. We do have a patrol officer on duty now, walking downtown, chatting with people, meeting with people. He's got a mask on, and it seems to be well received. So just throwing that out there.
Paul?
Hey, Jeremy, I just have a question about the film. So is the Opera House doing virtual programs now?
I guess I'm going to leave that maybe to Mark to answer. I know that they've got some things in the works right now. They've got some events coming.
I was just wondering if that could be a virtual event, that the outdoor film festival thing. Via their ability to do virtual things for the public. It's just a question.
As far as the Opera House is concerned, they're going to have concerts starting in August, and there will be 45 seats all spaced out. As you buy the tickets, you will be spaced out in the auditorium, so it's totally safe, have to wear a mask. And a lot of the shows will be streamed. I believe they've been setting up a 3-camera system to stream events.
Okay.
So they're working on that, but they would be hardwired in at the Opera House, so they wouldn't be able to take them over to.
Well, Mark, I could send you this thing that we're working on here, that it's actually a platform that does virtual festivals, virtual filming for independent films. So I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Sure, love to see it.
Yeah.
Paul, can you send that my way as well?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for everything. Yeah.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye now.
Okie doke. So we have 1,400 either pledged or in the bank, which is just a little bit over half of what we need in order to execute that mural. So I want to open it up to have it have a discussion about how if we do this in stages, do we get a color on the wall first with what money we have, or do we wait till we have it all? And also, I think Richard may have an update from having had a conversation with Steve Karen. So Meg, I didn't know whether you were raising your hand to say something.
I was, just before we start this about the raising of money, I just want to throw this out, and I know it's not what anybody wants to hear, but I've been doing some informal polling, and I'm not getting a great reaction to the mural that we're putting up. A lot of people have said it does not seem like an all-inclusive kind of thing. It's a yacht club kind of thing, and they're not thinking it's great. And then I looked at what Rockland's been doing, and I thought,
yeah,
to me, that feels like what we should be doing as well. But at this stage, I don't know if it's too late. I don't know. I don't want to like put everything on the back burner and take a long time to do it. But I just really want to tell people what I'm hearing. And I think it's important that we listen to this. I really do. So throwing it out, come back and tell me what you think.
Well, I'll have to say I've had a couple of feedbacks like that in the last month myself, but not necessarily about it being sort of an elitist thing, because signal flags have been used in the maritime world for a long, long, long time. But if public's perception is that it's yacht clubby, then that's what it is. Whether, signal flags have been used forever, and before they had radios and everything else. Richard.
Okay, just a little background on this. It was my duty to keep in touch with Steve Karen about what was going on. And so I called him a couple of days ago and said, Steve, I've checked the parking lot and it seems to be on progress, and we'll be able to turn that over to you, I think, by the end of July. And I was surprised when he responded and he said, well, the project's off. I'd heard nothing about this. And so I inquired a little bit about it. And then, Deb, as you know, I called you and found out what the status was with the budget. Then I made a contribution.
Thank you.
And this has nothing to do with the image of the mural, but I was concerned that if it wasn't put out to the broad public about donating to this, whatever amount of money, well, then the sense I was getting is, here's a town committee of, how many people are we? 8 people, and everybody's thrown in some money. They've decided what they want with a mural. They paid for it, but the rest of the town has no ownership of it. And I think ownership of that mural is the most important thing, even more than the graphic. But Steve also told me that after hearing that we didn't have the funds to go ahead, that he's taken on other work and he wouldn't be available now till the end of September. And, it's not getting dicey for painting, but, we're losing some time. So I wonder if there can be like a more informal way to get money for this. Something almost like, Deb, I read one of your letters recently in the paper about a candidate, and I thought it was very well stated. And maybe we don't have to have anything more formal than some people writing a letter to an editor about this project that's going on.
To raise the
As
money.
opposed to some giant fundraising kind of a campaign.
Mhm.
And I think too, the trick about fundraising right now, it certainly was much more sensitive a month or so ago, but this is a tough time for a lot of people and businesses too. And I do worry a little bit about going around with a handout when people are struggling, but I mean, that's sort of an
Yeah, but there's the other part of that, sort of to go on with the thought of that it looks like a yacht club message, is that, like that amount of money it's like lunch money to some people around here. It's not huge. It's not like huge amount of money. We're looking for what, $1,300? Like
more, you mean?
Yeah. In fact, I'd give it if you would deduct that amount from my property tax, maybe a little more.
Mark's here. He heard that. Dave,
No,
do you think, Lauren?
How about a GoFundMe page and you picked out 2 or 3 pictures and the person that the most votes were for was what you put up? I mean, that would be a way of maybe making it more inclusive, I guess, without a lot of work. I don't think that those GoFundMe pages are really hard to put together.
No, they're not. You have to have somebody manage it.
I think the hardest part would be picking what you were gonna put on and have people vote on it.
That's been our
hardest
problem
part
for
all
years.
along. Yeah.
I don't know about that
4 or 5 year
part.
problem. What are other people's senses of, or in reaction to what Meg Keano had to say? Paul?
So, obviously, again, I'm not there. So, but, this goes way back, the conversation on this way back to when I was there. My feeling was about the signal flags is not so much elitist, but kind of didn't have a sense of heritage and community. Like when we were first talking, it was more about what Camden is and what we are today, even though we weren't all thrilled with the execution of that idea. And while I think the signal sign, what's good about them is they are abstract, and so they don't have people or anything involved with them. When Meg mentioned Rockland, and not that you want to just do what they did, but I think, and I don't think that's what Meg meant. I just mean they are community driven, and I think going back to probably something I said in a meeting, once you ask people what they think, you'll never get it done, So I'm not really voting for that either, or suggesting that you make it a big community vote thing. But maybe some way to I guess show people what the concept is all about, and that it's I don't know. I think that I would move towards something that is more artistic in nature and maybe not so. I think that's just really like specific, and I know it goes with maritime and it goes with the harbor. So I mean, again, I don't have any right to say anything because I don't live there anymore. But
Wait, Mark?
I was wondering, do we have, if we get into changing it again, then we'll be talking September of 2021 instead of 2020. Do we have a rendering of the flags on the thing that's not close up, but it gives you a perspective of, the stores and maybe part of the street? Could we get a photo of that part of town and then have a rendering put on there so people can see it in perspective, to see how it might look?
Meg,
When you
we
say,
wanted
when you
this.
say people, do you mean the public or do you mean those of us on the committee?
Which
You
way?
meant the general
If we start to put it out there to the public.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the public, if we get at the public, because we had one public meeting about it, even with the select board, and even the select board went sort of crazy. And I brought this up before, but, our art is so subjective, but, it's hard to make an artistic decision by committee.
Yeah, it is.
It's very difficult.
Richard?
Well, basically, we all know that people are going to bitch about it no matter what it is. And they'll get used to it. And I'm not advocating one or the other, but I'm saying like you present something to people and their first reaction is going to be able to sort of portray their negativity of it and think to themselves, oh, I could do better with my idea, but it doesn't matter. It was brought out to me the other night when I was driving somebody past the new middle school. And they said, oh, this looks horrible. It looks like a train wreck. Well, half a block down was the remnants of I don't know whether they called it the senior wing or whatever, this flat roofed original building that went into Mary Taylor. I said, oh, you mean you like that better there? And they said, oh, well, no, but it had history and all that. They'll get used to the new school. They will. I think it looks rather attractive.
I
And
do.
I'd say the same thing about that sign, that as soon as it's installed and it's used, it's going to be great. What needs help is the rest of that building. And I wondered whether if we get a little more money, we could have money given to paint the rake boards on the front, like make the building look like it won't blow away, the paint blow away. But forget that last part. It's
Oh,
like,
no, that's okay. I was gonna go to Mark, but Meg, you've been kind of like about to say something, Meg B.
Oh, well, well, first of all, I want to say that I did that signal flag thing because I just wanted to throw something up there that was simple to execute by amateur painters, that you did not need to be an artist to execute it. And it was boldly graphic. And because I think something boldly graphic and not figurative belongs on that very rough surface wall. So that was all it was. And I don't have any great love of it myself. It's just something bold and graphic. And I just want everyone to know that if we go a different direction, I will not have hurt feelings whatsoever. And I also think that if the fact that Steve Perrin cannot do anything until September anyway, it does give us the opportunity to go a different direction if that's what we want to do. But if we want to do that, we should have an artist who will do something bold and graphic, create a design.
didn't we already do that with Rafi?
Well,
No, that we love Colin's work, but it was too delicate and figurative to really be directly put onto the wall. That's the problem.
Mark's had his hand up longest.
A couple things, and Meg, you have for almost every meeting said, that's okay if nobody likes it, it's okay. I thought it was a brilliant idea. It's simple, it's colorful, and it's different. I haven't seen it. I've seen murals all over the country. I've never seen it, which I think it makes it sort of unique. So, you say that every time, but I think you did a great job in coming up with something. Going back to the middle school, I was part of the building committee from day one on the middle school, and the arguments and the discussions about how it's going to look, and it's not this and it's not that, and it looks terrible. And now that people can see it, I'm getting more and more people approaching me, or not approaching me because nobody approaches us anymore, but saying to me, wow, that middle school looks terrific. It looks really great. And it's, like Richard said, sometimes you just have to tough it out in the beginning. And that's one of the reasons I asked for if we had a picture that put it in perspective instead of just flags right in the front of your face. If you had a perspective picture of it so people could sort of see it a little bit.
You do, Meg.
John, the member of the public wishes to speak.
Member of the public.
Remember this?
Oh, there we go. Mark, can you
Yes.
see?
There you go.
But I say something. I think
John, you need to speak up.
Can't
okay,
hear you.
all right. I like the idea of color, and I think that whether it's those signal flags or whether it's something similar to that in graphics that's simple but colorful is going to be the big thing on that wall. That I don't think we have to struggle. At least I would not need to struggle as I drive by or walk by to look at a picture of a particular figures or scene or something that I'm trying to interpret. I think the big thing is to get that wall bright and graphic and clean, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Also, architecturally, that wall physically is a real mess if you study those bricks there on that wall. And so anything that's a complex design with small imagery in it is going to be very difficult to make look well at the end of the day. It just is not going to do it. So having big areas of one color or another color, such as this flag concept, I think is the direction to head. Whether it's the flags or not, it doesn't matter to me.
Good point. Paul?
Okay, I'm going to backtrack, and I agree with Meg and John.
Bold and graphic.
Yeah, I think, listening to everybody talk and also thinking about the process and also remembering what we went through just to get to where we were before the signal flags came up as an option. So I guess what I'm saying is, I stand corrected. I think that simple, bold graphic is important, whether it's the flag or it's, stripes. I don't know, just something that doesn't need to be interpreted. And so I apologize for giving my comment before.
No, don't apologize. No.
No,
Donna,
I mean, because I had to get my head around it, so.
Donna,
We can understand the sun's a little bright there, Paul. It's okay.
I know, and usually I'm having my first drink by 5 o'clock. So.
Now 5 o'clock.
So Deb, like I told you, I have to jump off because I've got to do something at 5. So it was really great to see everybody, and
thank you. Will you join us again?
Oh, it's
I
wonderful
will
to see
send
you.
my check tomorrow. So
Thank you. Send it
Good
to
to see you,
Jody.
Paul.
bye.
Bye, Paul.
Thank you.
Bye,
Take
Paul.
care, everybody. I miss you.
We missed you.
Same here.
Get a summer home here. Oh, too late.
Donna, were you going to say something?
Yes, I was. I was going to say, I don't think we can go back and start over again. And first of all, there's always a budgetary problem. And if we hire an artist, we know what that's going to cost. We've been through that. So I think this Meg's mural works really well. I think that it's bold, it's colorful, and it works well with a very difficult building behind it.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I'd like to stay with it, and I'd like to have Steve do it in September.
We have
Richard's doing this. Meg, Keanu,
Yes. What?
how do you feel about how we're
Um,
going?
Of course, I'm going to go along. It's democracy, right? Go along with the majority. I still, mainly because of what I have heard and about, like I said, at this time when inclusiveness is on everybody's mind, I feel it once again shows Camden as,
Yachty?
as the elite. And I, maybe nautical flags are not elite per se, but they are a symbol, at least for most people, who will look at that and say, I don't know what that is. Does that say something? Not everybody in Camden is maritime related. And I think the idea of bright colors is absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
However we do it, it's got to be bright and cheerful. So if everybody feels good about the flag, then I'm probably if we vote, I will vote against it, but I will not downmouth it to anybody or anything. But I feel pretty strongly that this will be a reaction from part of the population.
I've been saying, I've been
Yes, Dave.
listening mostly today, and I think there's been some very good discussion, and I'm torn myself. But I go back to thinking, and what I said from the beginning when we were looking at some of those kind of abstract depictions of Maine history that would take interpretation. I've been saying, and I still think, I don't really care if it's corny, as long as people like it. This is not for us. It's for the people that are going to be using that parking lot, and we hope enjoying it. I don't care if it's a picture of a schooner or Curtis Island, frankly, or Mount Batty. I mean, it's just, that's so, creative perhaps, but I just think that that's what people like to see, is pictures of their own town.
Dave St. Laurent?
I don't know if this helps Meg, but I agree with Mark. I said, I think if you go back and try and rehash this, you'll never get it done. So maybe what you could do is just say, the committee had to make a decision. Art is so subjective that, this is what we chose, and we'll refresh it in a couple of years and try it and maybe with more input from other people. And maybe you just say, maybe we look at it as something that changes every couple of years. Doesn't have to be that forever. You know what I mean? It can be painted over. It doesn't mean it's permanent, right? It's a first stab at something on the wall. You're never gonna, best is the enemy of better. If you keep on trying to strive to get the best thing, you're never gonna, reach a point where you're gonna make it any better, because it's so subjective.
What about the concept of, for now, painting that brown gray concrete, some nice, great, lively color, one color across that wall?
Well, then you're going to be paying for it twice. The staging and all that. It's going to go up to paint the background, and then when in the future you're doing it again.
I think Mark made a very good point, which is looking at the signal flags as looking like a postage stamp with no context is probably hard for people to evaluate. And there might be somebody who's clever like Meg Barkley might be able to.
Well, I'd like to show you something if you will let me share my screen with you. So I built, to do this, I built a digital model. And I gotta tell you, I'm only willing to expand my model so far because it's extremely labor intensive. Like, I'm not gonna put everything in Camden in my model. Trust me, that's not happening. But I will share my screen with you and you can see, hang on a sec. This should work. Oh, share, okay. Okay, so this is my model, and you can kind of move it around and look at what it's like. And you can see how linear that space that we have available for the mural is.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah.
I don't see how anybody could take offense to what that looks like on that screen. I think we have to acknowledge that Camden is a nautical community.
Mhm.
It's not all yacht club. The same people who would bitch about this would have no trouble walking down to the harbor and kibutzing with Steve Pixley. There's signal flags down there too. So why don't we try to just get beyond this, what some members think is elitist, and go back to the qualities of this, which are color graphics. And I don't know my signal flags. If I went by that, I couldn't tell you that that spells CAMDEN. I'm taking your word for it that it does.
Yeah. Oh, good point, Richard.
Better check.
What does it really spell?
Yes, haha.
Be a swear word.
Well, I think if we put this up on Facebook or got Penn Bay Pilot to do a story on it, we've got some, and let's just see how, let's run it up the flagpole and see who salutes it, as they used to say when I was in the ad business.
I think that's a good idea.
I think looking at it on the building is a good point.
Yeah.
All right, so what's
Does
the,
anybody know how to get this, to take that that illustration and get it publicized somewhere? Who can do that?
well, I guess you could create what, a JPEG of one of those?
I can create a PDFs of, images, from different angles and things like that. And then you can pick the one you want, because obviously people are only going to want to see one or two at the most.
Meg, why don't you send it to me and I'll see what I can, I'll talk to some people about getting it out there.
Good.
Okay, and get it out there in what kind of context?
I'm
the
not sure.
design-
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, but get it to him and think about it, and then you want to get back to us, Mark, with some of your ideas of how to move
Yeah,
it forward?
either we could either do it, in Penn Bay Pilot, or we could do it on Facebook,
So can I just ask, if we do that, we present it, that this is what we're doing, and we just want to share it with people. Is that, we're not presenting it, do you like it or don't you like it? Because
No,
that would go
I-
crazy. I think it would be confusing.
Facebook would go nuts. It
uh,
would burn up.
Yeah,
I think we're not going to ask people if they like it or don't like it, but we'll soon find out if they all
Yeah,
hate it.
hear from them.
Yeah. We're building a new library in Rockport,
Yes,
and almost everybody who wasn't on the building committee who goes by that building says it's way out of proportion to the building site. That is it's too late, of course, but that's a consensus. I think if we do this virtually, we might be able to get some kind of a consensus that we can deal with. It won't be a vote, but we'll get the picture, I think.
I think that's a good idea.
Camden Law liked it, if I can say that. I showed them the rendition of it and they really liked it a lot, but that's
Who did?
Camden Law.
That's because they have the same signal flags.
That was
That's
the
maybe Adam's-
inspiration for doing it was their signs. And I was like, they should contribute because it's like their
Well,
signs.
David Dickey likes it, and he reiterated a couple of days ago when Dave St. Lauren and I were there,
Good.
and he's gonna buy a flag. So
Well,
I
that's
don't know how much
good.
a flag
Yeah,
would
and he's
cost.
certainly not an elitist, I must say.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think if we make part of the story that it spells Camden, if in fact it does,
It does spell Camden, I
Yeah.
swear.
well, I think that's kind of clever, and I think people will go for that. And also, we make part of the story. Signal flags have been used since ships started sailing. That's how they communicated.
It used to say loser lot. So I mean, that's an improvement from that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And I hope that the people that I've been hearing from are not the majority. So we'll
Well,
see.
Mark, when you come up with some ideas, will you run it by us?
yes.
Great.
Okay. And is everybody sort of happy with that plan? We'll run some things up the flagpole or
Yeah.
whatever you do on a sailboat. When you put up your burgee and all of that, whatever that sheet is or line, okay?
Has anybody double checked it for what the graphics mean?
Yeah,
I
I mean, I
mean-
used my signal flag chart to make it.
I don't know, because I don't know anything about a signal flag. So I mean,
It says Camden. It does say Camden.
all right, I would think.
Sorry, I brought that up.
I'm gonna say,
Well, we know that it's not just 4 letters, right?
Exactly.
Right.
That'd be pretty funny.
All right, Mark,
I
get
think
back to
people-
us on
I think
that.
people
and
will be
we'll-
in- will
we'll
be
see.
intrigued by that.
Deb, can I ask you, when you were talking about the donations, if you're getting back to the money part of it, because I did agree to, but I can't remember if you took that down or.
I
or what-
remember what you told me, and anybody who wants to contribute, if you want to send me an email, but any contribution it's written out to the town of Camden and sent to the attention of Jody Hanson, our finance director. Or you can walk the check in and give it to Jody, or have somebody give it to Jody. And on the memo line on your check, you should just write mural project. Jody knows what it is because she's already gotten some money from me.
Okay, and it's just made out to the town of
Town
Camden.
of Camden, and then on your memo line, or put a note in the envelope and say this is for the mural.
Okay, so we can do that now.
You can do that at any time.
Okay,
Now,
right.
one thing I've got to say about it, if they mix up the letters when they're painting it, it could end up spelling CAD men. So be careful about that.
Okay.
We haven't scored.
I I think the mural part's harder than building the parking lot.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah, it's been a long road.
Every time that they've talked about, when I was in Rockland, they talked about that park over by the ferry terminal and putting art there, and they never come to an agreement on what they were put there. They put all kinds of money into the park. They put granite slabs for artwork, and then they focused this whole park around the granite slabs. And guess what's in the granite slabs right now? Nothing.
Oh,
They never could agree. It's the hardest thing for anybody to agree to as art.
Yeah.
You're right.
So you know, you just gotta, I think you just gotta go for it. Unfortunately, no matter what you do, somebody's gonna like it and someone's gonna hate it. That's just what's gonna happen.
Okay, well, we'll take the next step and see what kind of idea Mark comes up with and then what the feedback is. Donna, anything else from you?
No, I'm glad
Anybody?
we're on this road.
Okay, how about a meeting? Do you guys want to meet in a month?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think this has been actually more effective than our face-to-face meetings. I do.
dog interruption. No, I think it's worked. I'll let you know what it's like next week. I'm doing one with 10 people, 10 or 11 people. Okay, so I don't actually don't have my calendar. Does somebody have?
4 weeks
We
is
are
Wednesday
Tuesday.
4 weeks is Wednesday, the 12th. Are you going back to Tuesday?
Should we go back to our, is everybody okay on 8/11?
See here.
Add a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
That's Tuesday, to go back to Tuesdays?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the second Tuesday,
Yeah,
August.
yeah. I don't have a calendar up, so is that the second Tuesday, Mark?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'll ask Janice to set us up, and maybe we'll have some information before then from Mark.
And it is after 5, so we could have cocktails if you wanted to. Right.
I'm supposed to go pick up
All right.
lobsters at 5. But maybe next time. Okey doke. So let me ask you guys, the burglars are in my house. So I guess we could just each say goodbye. Is that what we do, Mark?
And then to get out of this,
Yep.
you go down to the lower right and there's a little red button that says
Oh.
leave.
Okay.
If
Thank
you
you
click
all.
on-
It's great to see everybody.
Thank you.
Good to see
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.